Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this tutorial, you're gonna see about data types. So data types, let's first take an example of a real world object. We know about dogs, right? Dogs, there are so many breeds. Let's take for example golden retriever. They are so fun to play with. They are really playful, right? That's their character. Now we have German shepherd. They're also fun and they are like guard dogs. They're so brave. Then we have the pugs. They're so lazy. So all have their own uniqueness and their own nature. Same way in Python we have different types of data. So there are totally 5 types of data. First one is none type, numeric type second one, then sequence type, then sets, and then mappings. So in this video we'll talk about untype and numeric type. So it's like a part one. In the part two I'll talk about the rest of the types. Before we see what type, before we talk about the types, let's see what variables are. So a variable is nothing but a memory location to store data. So here you see this a. Here this a is called as variable, or it's also called as identifier, but the common word we all use is variable. And what we are trying to do here is we are assigning the value 1, and we are using this operator called equal to operator to assign the value 1. So what happens here when we do like this is a memory location is created with the name a, and the value 1 is stored in it. It can be anything. It needn't be 1, it needn't be a number, it can be a strings, it can be a group of words, it can be an array, or it can be anything. If you are trying to store a data, a variable is, you create a variable and that variable is called a memory location, and you store the value inside it. So I hope you get the meaning of the variable. Nothing, it's just a box. Consider the box like this, and this box name is a, and inside that a you're storing the value. Here the example is 1. So that is a variable. Variable is nothing but a memory location to store values. So in Python, how a variable is seen by Python is, it's called through tags. So when you write a is equal to 1, what happens is the variable a is created and it tags to 1. In other languages, we say that we store 1 we store 1 in the variable a. It's called like a variable a is considered as a memory location where the value 1 is stored, but in Python we call it as tag. So a is tagged to 1. That's how the Python sees a variable. No need to worry much about it. Just know that variable is a memory location to store a data. So now let's come to the types. The first one is none type. None type, what is none type? Just means false, means there is nothing inside it, means it's the zero value, right? So this is how you write none. It's a keyword, that is, it's an inbuilt word that is created by the Python developers. And here's the variable a, it's called a variable, and we are storing the a with none, means the compiler sees it as nothing. And you try to print a, it displays none. It just says that there is nothing inside it, just a blank space. So that's all you have to know about none. Means nothing, it means just false. Next we'll come to the numeric types. So numeric types, there are 3 types. It's divided into 3. The first one is int, it's called integer. The next one is float, and the next one is complex. So now let's see what int type is. So int, the full form is integer. So in the world of programming, we write the short word int, meaning integer. So any values in between negative infinity to positive infinity without fractions are called of integer type. For example, 1, -10, 5094. So all these are like just clear numbers without any fraction points, right? So minus 25, this is how you are assigning a value, is using the equal to operator to assign a value to the variable A. Here the variable B is assigned the value 5 and you print it, and you see minus 20 and 5. That's all what integer is. Integer is nothing but values in between negative infinity to positive infinity without any fraction points. Now let's look about a float. Float is also values in between negative infinity to positive infinity with points, with with the fraction points. So here you see we are trying to assign the value minus 20.2 to the variable A. So here we are seeing we are using the points 0.005, 0.2. When we print it, you see comes as minus 20.2, 5.005. So any values with fraction points is called as float. And sometimes we see there will be exponential numbers, right? So 22.55 into 10 raised to 3 is what? 22,550, right? So we see it is integer type, but Python sees it as a float type. So so here you see we are trying to initialize the value, this value to 22550 in exponential form. So not to represent in exponential form, you have to use the word e. It can be small e or capital E. You can use any e, and if you are trying to power it to whatever number, for here the example is 3, you put e3. So here the Python considers that a float value. That's why you see 0.0. Even if it is integer, the compiler sees it as a float value. So that's all about float. Float is nothing but values with fraction points. Now coming to the complex number. Complex number, it's of the form a plus bj. So j here is the keyword. So if you want to represent a complex number, you have to use the word j. And here the a is the imaginary part. Sorry, the real part. It can be a integer, float. It can be of any type, and b is the imaginary part. It can be in float, and j is the root of -1. So here what we're trying to do is we're trying to add these two values. We'll talk about arithmetic operators in another video, but just for example, you see here, see in the variable a we are assigning this complex value, and variable b are applying this complex value, and when we try to add we get this output 5.5 plus 3j. So that's all about complex numbers, just of the form a plus bj. So in this video, that's all. I don't want a video to be too long because it's gonna be boring or else. So we'll see in the next video. Till then, if you haven't understood anything, please do write in the comments. I'll also explain to you in the comments. If there's any feedback you want to give, like maybe I can improve my maybe my sound quality, is it fine, or am I speaking too fast? Anything you want to give feedback, please do mention in the comments. I'll be more than happy to improve myself. Till then, bye and have a great day.